Hi everyone, it's Hannah or Lambency and welcome back to another doll customization video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made Amethyst from Steven Universe. I originally made Amethyst back in 2017 when I was really new to doll making, and I think she was like my 4th or 5th doll. And YouTube took down a lot of my old Steven Universe videos, so this is my second doll in a series of revamps I'm doing. The first is Peridot. And I just thought they just need a new look. They need to be in their new outfits, and I want to see if I can make them better than I did in 2017. So yeah, if you've been subscribed for a long time, you probably remember this video. I couldn't really find a good full body picture of my old Amethyst, so here's some footage of me from 2017. Making weird faces. But yeah, so this is new Amethyst. Let's get started. I wanted the doll's body type to be more accurate to Amethyst, so I decided to try body modification. This was my first time doing anything like this, and I got this technique of carving away around the joints from Starberry Cat on Instagram, which I will link to down below. This technique makes it so that you will still be able to bend the arms and legs of the doll even after adding clay, as well as giving it a more natural look rather than something like this. I think I could have carved away more in the end, but this was my first time doing this, so I was a bit cautious. This was definitely a learning experience, and I think we'll do much better next time. I used Apoxie Sculpt to add onto the body and shape it. Make sure to use gloves if you're handling Apoxie Sculpt. This body was actually originally going to be Ruby's, but then I realized I didn't have all the materials I needed for her yet, so I changed it to Amethyst. Now it's time to sand down the clay to smooth it. However, I did later end up adding clay to the thighs and around the neck since it didn't look quite right. Also, remember to wear a mask if you're sanding. Once everything was fairly smooth, I painted the body white and then went over that with purple paint once it dried. I originally used Kitty Cheshire's face and body for Amethyst, but I decided to change it up and use a cerise hood head. Repaint time! First, I wiped off the factory paint using 100% acetone. I have no idea what happened to this footage, but afterwards I painted the head white and then purple, just like I did the body. Then I sprayed the face with Mr. Super Clear to prep it for the watercolor pencils. Make sure to wear a mask when using Mr. Super Clear and do it in a well-ventilated area. The watercolor pencils I'm using are Faber-Castell, and as always, I started with lighter colors and then darkened it with each layer. I sealed the face with Mr. Super Clear between each layer. Like I said in my previous video of revamped Peridot, it's important to seal the face between each layer of color to keep everything in place and add more vibrancy and dimension. Without a sealant, it will look very flat, which is what happened with my old dolls when I was new to customization. You can see here that the eyes are just a flat, solid color. I definitely didn't use enough Mr. Super Clear back then. The face is done except for the finishing touches. I sprayed it one last time with Mr. Super Clear and then added dots of white acrylic paint to the eyes. Then I made the eyes and lips shiny with gloss varnish. Now her clothes. I'm making her most recent outfit. For the shorts, I'm using the basic pant pattern from DG Requiem on Etsy. However, I altered the pattern a bit since it needs to fit the modded body. I just traced the pattern onto separate paper and made it larger. I just completely guessed since I'm terrible at measurements and math, and it actually ended up fitting, which is shocking. I cut out 4 of these short pieces and then placed them right sides together and sewed along the side here. Once those were sewn together, I placed those 2 right sides together and sewed along this curve here. Then I cut a waistband out of the same fabric, sewed it along the top of the shorts, and then folded it and sewed the waistband down. I folded the shorts and sewed along the other curve, leaving a small opening at the top where the closure will go. Then I sewed all along here and turned the shorts right side out. They're way too long, so I cut to the proper length. I didn't bother with hemming the bottom since Amethyst shorts are frayed anyway. I placed the shorts on the doll to make sure it fit properly. I wish I had made her thighs thicker, but I was afraid of adding more clay and not having the shorts fit anymore. I cut stars out of black fabric and glued them down onto the shorts with fabric glue. All done with the shorts. Now for her tank top. I'm using a basic shirt pattern, also from DG Requiem on Etsy, but once again I modified it and made it bigger. I sewed the 2 back shirt pieces to the front along the shoulder here. Then I hemmed the arm openings and the neckline with fabric glue. Once everything was nice and hemmed, I sewed along the sides. I set down where the gem will go to get an idea of where to cut the opening, then I just took scissors and cut 1 large hole and 1 tiny rip below it. All done! Now let's hot glue her gem on. I got this gem from the embellishments section of Michael's. Now the last part of her outfit, her shoes. I used these boots that came from a DC Superhero Girls Batgirl doll, and I just spray painted them white with Rust-Oleum. Then, since Amethyst boots have a slight purple tint to it, I went over the boots with a very light purple acrylic paint. Finally, once it dried, I added gloss varnish to seal it and make it shiny. Now her hair. I painted the top of her head light purple so that if there are any bald spots, it will not be so obvious. I got this hair from AliExpress and it's my first time using this kind of hair. It's very cheap and hard to work with and I had no idea how to even use it. This was the closest color I could find and obviously I will cut the pink off the tips. A lot of people in my first Amethyst video got on me for not making her hair white, but I don't see white here. I'm sorry, this doesn't look white to me. It looks like a really pale lavender. Anyway, I started gluing the hair wefts on with tacky glue, but it wasn't really sticking, so I switched to super glue. Then I remembered that hot glue exists and used that and it worked perfectly. I had no idea how to finish the hair without the stitching at the top of the wefts being visible, so I looked up a tutorial and found this amazing one by Poppin Atelier, which I will link in the description. I really wish I had watched this before I started working on the hair. Definitely check it out if you're working with this kind of doll hair. By the way, I ended up running out of the original color I was working with because I kept messing up, which is why you see this darker violet color now. Okay, so Amethyst is done! I hope you liked this video and I will have another Steven Universe revamped doll video coming the week after next. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!